Hey guys, Brisen here. I'm profiling my Time Thief deck profile for you guys for the April 2020 format. It's a deck that I bought ever since it was released as a TCG exclusive when it just came out with the first wave of cards. Now that it's got new support, the deck is a lot better. Show you guys some of the combos I've been playing with some of the other things that have just come out. It's made the deck even better. So, hope you guys enjoy. This is the deck that I'll be playing moving forward, and it's really budget. 3-time Thief Regulator. He's great. He's like your Rescue Rabbit of the deck. If you control no other monsters, you can tribute him and special summon 2 Time Thieves from your deck with different names. And then if a Time Thief Exceed is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon from your grave, but he gets banished when he leaves. So he's like your play starter. Next we play 3-time Thief Winder. Great card. He's your searcher. You can when he's normal summoned or special summoned, you can add a Time Thief card from your deck to hand, and then you can also detach material from an Time Thief XYZ you control, a special summon from your hand. So free special summon, so you can start flooding the board. He surges everything you need. The important thing is he surges a Time Thief card, so it can be spelled or trap. It doesn't have to be a monster. It's great. He's got 1800 attack, which is not bad, and all these guys are dark too, which come in handy for some of the other cards we can play. 3 Beazle Ship. You do play 3 of him. He's like your late game. The most important effect he has is you can detach a material from an XYZ you control, especially from your grave. He gets banished when he leaves the field. Another cool thing is you can tribute him as a quick effect, and then target a Time Thief XYZ you control, and you attach a card from your opponent's grave to it, so you can attach like a trap or a spell to your Redoer, so then you get the effect you need. It's really cool. So you can just bring him back and then have him as a quick effect to get what you need, or to get something out of their grave so they can't use it, which is cool. Like, this deck is a super control deck. It's a lot of fun. It might not seem like it, but the more I'll explain the cards, you'll see why. And then I run only 2 of the Time Thief Chrono Quarter, sadly. I tried to run 3 of all of them, which can work in the deck, especially with how I'm playing, because I'm basically playing a pure Time Thief deck, which is awesome. During your opponent's battle phase, you can tribute him, and then the next battle damage you take from a opponent's monster is dealt to them instead, which usually it's kind of cool. It's just to prevent them from attacking you. The main thing is when you detach him for the, I believe it's, let me make sure, guys, it's a Time Thief XYZ. Okay, so it's not, which is even better. If a face-up XYZ monster leaves the field while he's a material, then you can bring him back to the field. He gets banished when he leaves the field, though, which is a common thing from all of them. Or actually, I'm sorry, guys, I completely said that wrong. If a face-up Exceed you control leaves the field while he's in the grave, you can special summon him, which is kind of cool. So, like, let's say what's really cool is when you detach him off a Redoer, he gets sent to grave to banish for the monster effect. Then you can special summon him, so it gets you another level 4 to continue extending into like Perpetua or to be able to link summon, which is cool. We only run the 2 though because he's really only used for combos. Standalone, he's honestly really bad. Like, even the tribute effect to make sure you don't get attacked, it's just a stall. It's like Linkuriboh. It's alright. That's why we play the 2. I just cut the 3rd for some better cards. We play 3 Summoner Monk. It's just pure Time Thief. You play a crap ton of spells in this deck, and him into a Winder is basically a Redoer with a Retrograde. So, or a Redoer with a Regulator in hand for next turn, which is awesome. And then a lot of their spells, or their cards get effects in the grave. So if you send like one of the new spells that came in the archetype for Summoner Monk's effect, then you'll still get advantage off of it, which is really cool. So that's why we run him to get what you need out of the deck. Then we'll move on to the hand traps. I play 2 Jerigetto. This is an old card, but I really like it. It's a dark level 4, so you can use it to overlay in the deck. It can be used for a lot of the other cards you run. And what's really cool is your Redoer, which is the main monster you're set on, only has 2400. So you kind of have problems like beating over monsters with a lot of attack. So during the battle phase, you can special summon from hand, and then as a quick effect, you can tribute him and give a monster plus 1000 attacks. And when you get special summon, you gain 1000, so it kind of helps you in grind games or in time. But mainly to give Redoer more attack, or you can go into your battle phase, special summon him, and then overlay main phase 2 just to make sure you can get Redoer on board. So it does a lot for the deck. I'm still testing him or another hand trap, and then obviously I'm playing Ash Blossom. I'm only playing 2 though. I'm testing out a theory. I was playing 3 for a long time, but doing this, playing 2 gives you the highest ratio to draw Ash Blossom, but it makes sure that you have a lower ratio of drawing 2 copies because it's a once per turn effect, and I hated opening up 2 Ash Blossom because yes, you'll use it eventually. I'd rather just see the 1 copy that I need and then have another card in my hand that could be doing something for me. So 2 I'll get the most use out of it that I can, be the most consistent without drawing 2 of them. That's it for the monsters, guys. We'll move on to the spells, which is another big majority of the deck. I play 3 Time Thief Startup, which like a double summon, kind of. You can special summon a Time Thief monster from your hand, which doesn't seem the best, but when almost all your monsters are Time Thieves, it's just a free Redoer. And then what's really good is you can banish this card in your graveyard and attach a Time Thief monster, Time Thief spell, and a Time Thief trap. You have to have all 3 in the grave after this is banished to a Time Thief XYZ you control. So basically it gives Redoer all 3 of its effects off of 1 card. So if you send this off a Summoner Monk, you still get all the pluses from it. So you really don't minus by sending it, which is cool. Then I play 1 Time Thief hack. It's kind of slow, but it's situational. You can search it off a Winder. During the turn, XYZ monsters are special summoned. They cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects, and they can't target them with card effects, which is cool. And then you can target, like, an XCG you control gains 300 attack for each material that's attached to it, which is cool. And then also, I've seen this card splash like Zodiac sometimes and stuff. What's really cool is if it's if the XCG you target has a material owned by your opponent, that card can attack directly, which is awesome. So, like, sometimes your Redoer can have, like, 5 or 6 materials on it because it keeps taking things from your opponent. So you can gain, like, 1800 attack from this 1 card, and it makes sure all your plays are safe. So, like, if you go up against a deck with a lot of back row, you can search this, play it first off the Winder, and then go. Or just if you open it, and then you're safe for that turn. So it kind of helps you play through back row. Situational. It helps you also beat over strong attacking monsters. I'll get into the more consistency of the deck. 3 Allure of Darkness. Everything you play with Ash is dark, so why not? It's a free +1. 2 Pot of Desires. We play 3 of everything that you need. Besides Chronic Order, we play 3 of all the Time Thieves. Play 3 of Time Thief Startup. 3 Allure. So, banishing 10 off Desires. You're not going to banish anything that, is super important. We don't play a lot of 1-ofs. And on top of it, anything you draw will probably end up getting you into Redoer. Some other theories of why I play like 2 and some things I've been hearing about this card, which really also just helped me solidly think that 2 is a really good number for the deck. 1, I don't want to open up multiples. It's a once per turn effect, hard once per turn. 2, I don't want to draw into a Desires off of Desires. It's the worst. It's like duality into a duality. So 2 means that I have the highest ratio of seeing it, while also having one of the lowest ratios of drawing into another Desires. On top of it, I'm playing a 40-card deck, so if you activate 2 Desires in a game, considering, let's say you've already drawn, let's say you went first, you've already drawn 6 cards, you've drawn your 5 at the start, and then your 1 for your second turn to activate the next Desires, you've burned through 26 cards in your deck, and you have 14 left. So then if you were to ever activate a third Desires, you'd be at 4 cards. So, really, honestly, don't need the third. You're probably not going to activate more than that. Plus, what's really good about this card, if anybody's kind of worried about playing it, you can also banish like bricks. So let's say you just need like 1 card to out a board or 1 card to play your Redoer or whatever. This card digs through your deck to get it while also banishing other cards that you don't need in the game, like the extra copies that you're running 3 of just to see once or twice. So then it makes your deck a little bit more consistent and thins it so you can get to combo pieces you need. Just a little bit of insight on the card if you're worried about playing it, because I know for a long time I was. 1 upstart, 39 card deck. Don't really need to explain it. Why wouldn't you want to play 39 cards? It just replaces itself. It becomes a different card. Really good. Increases consistency. This card ever comes back to 3, definitely find space for it. 3 Call by the Grave. This day and age, especially a lot of new decks coming out, you want to be able to hit things in grave. A lot of decks focus on reborning stuff from the grave, or like the new Automancipator deck. They need their rocks in grave to get their synchro effects off. You can hit those cards in the graveyard before they become problems. What's cool about this card too, a lot of people don't know, is if your opponent plays multiples of a card that keeps trying to get its effects off, you can banish another copy of that card in the grave, and it's basically like a Forbidden Chalice or whatever. You negate that monster's effects on board. So sometimes you can do that to get around cards. Like, let's say you're playing against, like, maybe like Trickstars. Somebody has a Candina engraved, so they summon a Candina. You can banish, try to get its effect. You can banish their Candina engraved and then negate the one on field's effect. So it can be used in like 3 different ways, honestly. To stop your opponent from getting things out of grave, to stop hand traps when they try to stop your plays, and to negate effects. So a card that gets that much plus out of it, definitely want to max out on. And it's a spell for Summoner Monk, which is cool. Main deck, 2 Twin Twisters, because I really hate back row, and I don't want to lose to a deck that's playing like some kind of Floodgate that I just can't out. Like, your Redoer could possibly put it back on top of the deck, but a lot of time you're not wanting to waste that effect on back row, so we just play 2. I think 3 is too much, because sometimes you can go against decks that don't play any back row, but with Desires, I think maining the 2. If I do go up against a deck that doesn't play back row, I might just banish it anyways, and it's also a discard outlet to get, like, your Beasless Ship Engrave or your Regulator, so it's pretty awesome. Alright, then I run 2 Mass Change the Second. This is kind of like my tech in the deck. You can discard a card and then target a monster, especially summon a masked hero from your deck that's got the same attribute. So it's a discard outlet, and it's just a free Dark Claw. Everything in your deck is Dark but Ash Blossom, so you can turn basically anything you play into a Dark Claw, and against a lot of decks that can just win you games. Like a Redoer and a Dark Claw is pretty nuts. So, alright guys, I play 2 of the new Time Thief Retrograde. When a spell or trap card is activated where you control a Time Thief XYZ monster, you can negate the activation and attach it to it as a material. So it just gives you a free negation of like any kind of consistency spell or trap you're playing against trap heavy decks, and gives your Redoer or Perpetua more materials, which is great. I think 2 is a pretty good number playing pure, because I'm not doing it as an engine just to get 1 negate and trying to open up a big first turn board. I'm trying to play more long drawn out matches with this kind of deck, so I want to be able to search it more than once. And you also need kind of more of the traps in the deck, because Perpetua's effect and some of the other cards you run can just attach these cards from deck to your monsters, and the trap effect of Redoer is one of your only outs most of the time to things, so you want to have the traps in your deck. The last trap I play is 3 Flyback. A lot of people play 2. I'll explain why I play 3. This card has 2 different uses, and something cool about it is, too, it can use itself for its effect. So its effect is, you can target a Time Thief XYZ you control and attach a Time Thief card from your hand or deck to it as a material. So it's a card, a monster, spell, or trap. So it can turn on any effect you Redoer during your opponent's turn or during yours. The cool part is it can attach itself to your Redoer, so it's thinning your deck of another copy that you don't need, but while also making sure you max out on copies so you can draw into it, which is cool. So opening this in Redoer gives you at least 1 interruption. And then on top of it, while it's in grave, what you have to remember, the sad part, you can't use the grave effect the turn you activate its normal effect, but while it's in graveyard, you can banish it and target a card in your opponent's grave and attach it to your Redoer as material. So it's almost like an interruption. Like if your opponent were to like Monster Born something, once they pick their target, you can chain Flyback and then target the target they're targeting for Monster Born and attach it to your Redoer, and it just fizzles. So it's a way to get things out of their grave that they need or stop them from bringing things back. Really, really good card. Alright guys, honorable mentions for the deck so far is Danger Mothman. I actually have 3 copies of the card, and I was debating on running him too. Taking out maybe like 2 of the Jurighetto and 1 of the spells or traps. I'm honestly on the fence about it. I'm not sure what I'd take out. Maybe even just taking out like 1 of the Twisters and 2 of the Jurighettos to play 3, because he's a free body on board. He's a discard outlet, a dark, and he helps draw a card if you don't play him. So that might be something I'm trying out in the future. But for now, we'll just get into the extra deck. I play 2 Time Thief Redoer, Heart and Soul of the deck. He gets effects based on the materials he have. One of the cool things is mandatory effect. After your opponent draws during their standby phase, you'll take the top card of the deck and attach it as a material. It's once per turn, or so like a soft once per turn, so it's once per copy. So if you have like 2 of these on the board, they'll both start taking things from your opponent, which is cool. Mandatory effect too as well. And then on top of it, he gains effect equal to the materials he has. So monster, you can detach and banish him to the end phase, so he has a way to get out of the way of trouble. Spell, he's an Upstart Goblin draw card. And then trap, you can place a face-up card on top of your opponent's deck. So it's even better than Compulse. It doesn't send to the hand, it puts it on top. So they're drawing into something that they needed the turn before, and it gets it so they can't, like, let's say they set a trap card during their turn, you can bounce to the top of their deck, and they can't just, like, reset it. Like, you don't have to wait till next turn to draw it and then set it up, and by then it might be too late. So, really good card. He takes 2 level 4s, but after that you can put as many materials as you want on him with his effect or Flyback or whatever. And then his partner in crime, new card, Time Thief Perpetua. Great card, made the deck so much better. During the standby phase, you can detach a material, and then you can target a Time Thief in your grave and special summon it, except her, which is really cool. You can like bring back your Redoer, and then during their turn, it'll get a material and it's live again, which is cool. And then quick effect. So during either turn, you can target another XYZ monster you control. So it doesn't even have to be a Time Thief. And then you attach 1 Time Thief card from your deck to as a material. So she can basically turn on any of your Redoer's effect during your opponent's turn, or give all your other Exceeds more materials so they can activate their effects, which is amazing. So all in all, the cards are great. And these are both dark, so they're still mass change targets, which is cool. On to the more generic rank 4s, Abyss Dweller, because Orcus are still a thing. So, yeah. Exoton Knight, I rarely use him, but this card's special to me. I actually picked it up my wife and I's honeymoon, so I played in a lot of decks, and it's still really good. Once per chain during the main phase of your opponent's battle phase, if you control less cards, you can basically blow everything up on the board. Like, in your hand and on the field, compared to their hand on the field, if they control more, just wipes the board. It's like a Black Rose, but he stays on board, which is cool. And he's a 1900 beat stick. And for those of you who don't know, most people know, but I'll just make sure because I don't know who's watching my videos on my channel. Dweller, during the player's turn, you can detach a material and you negate graveyard effects. So good against certain matchups. The lesser known effect is if he has a water XYZ material, all water monsters gain 500, but we don't play any waters. One, Baguska, because while he's in defense, anything's summoned or whatever, it gets changed to defense position, and if it's changed to defense position, you negate their effect. So he's like a skill drain. Sadly, it doesn't work with links, but during the M phase of each turn, you detach material, and while he's in face-up attack position, he can't be destroyed by card effects, so he can kind of beat over things too. But kind of just like a good first, like if you don't open up anything else good, or like you're kind of losing and you need to stall out, you can play Baguska, then set on him for like 1 or 2 turns and draw on the cards you need, which is cool. One Tornado Dragon, just as another form of popping back row, because you can pop one on your turn, and then his effect is a quick effect, so then during their turn, you can detach and pop the other card. So he's like a Twin Twister in the form of a monster, which is cool. If they try to change something to him, to his effect, or, you know, like try to get rid of him, you can just chain, pop something. Really cool. He also goes well with another card I'll show in the deck in a little bit. And then I play one Castel, because if you detach one, he's a Book of Moon, detach 2, he shuffles a card. So he's around floodgates as well as monsters. They can't be, like, destroyed by card effects, which is awesome. Play the 1 Master Hero Darklaw just for the mass change. I feel like a 2-to-1 ratio is good. I don't want to run 2 because my extra deck, I wanted space for other cards. But with Desires, I need to run more than 1 mass change a second, and I'll draw into it without drawing too many copies. You've already heard me explain that ratio, so. But yeah, really good card. Hurts a lot of decks. Kind of hurts you, but not really. Like, if you have a Redoer already on board, and then him, it's kind of helping to protect your Redoer, and that added pressure just can kind of win you games, which is cool. Now, 3 of my tech card, I'm honestly thinking about cutting this to 2 and just putting another, like, gravity controller in, but you guys can tell me what you think in the comments, is, Bujinki Ahashima, the new link monster for them. He's generic. So I don't know if anybody thought about running this in this deck, but this is what I've been doing. It's my theory. It's 2 monsters with the same level. So all of your time piece level 4s. And then what happens is if he's link summoned, you can special summon a monster with the same level from your hand and 1 from your graveyard, and then you exceed summon with him. So instead of going straight into Redoer, you can make this guy special summon 1 of your time thieves from your hand and 1 from your graveyard, or, you know, and obviously you'll have one in your grave because you just link summoned for him, and just play a Redoer right under him. And then his effect is whenever the Exceed monster underneath him detaches a material for their effect, he pops a card. So it's like a free way of destroying your opponent's back row and gives you some control, because Redoer can just activate that turn to banish himself. And then he can also activate during your opponent's turn. So then you could activate it. You could place him back in the zone it points to, and then detach again and pop another card. And as long as they don't get rid of him, every turn you can just bring him back. He'll have at least 1 material from your opponent and just keep popping back row. So it kind of gives you a way to get over your opponent's back row while giving you 2 monsters. Sad part is he can't be used as link fodder, but it's just free 2 monsters first turn or second turn, whenever you want to get into it. Like I said, thinking about running 2, not 3. And then I run 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice, because they're all darks. It can give them all, I can give all your dark monsters to 500, so like, basically have like a 2900 Redoer or 2900 Darklaw. Pretty cool. And when you get started by Valor card effect, you can add a dark monster from grave to hand, so it kind of recycles. So, it's just a decent card to go into late game. And then last card I run in the extra deck is 1 Gravity Controller. Really good card. You can basically make your Ashima and play Redoer, and then just get rid of the Ashima and play Controller and bounce a card. So it gets around cards that can't be like targeted or destroyed by card effects, because he doesn't target or destroy when he battles something. I believe it is a monster in the extra monster zone. Yes, and he can't be destroyed by battle with Monster May monster, which is kind of cool. At the start of the damage step, whatever he battles in the extra deck monster zone, they'll just both bounce. So then you can reuse them again, which is why I'm on the fence about running 2, because you can just reuse him again. I mean, his effect isn't once per turn, though, so that's why it's kind of good. But also, you usually only have 1 link monster on board, so to get rid of the 1, I guess it sucks. But yeah, it's just your out. Like that BLS Link, I had somebody pull 2 of those out on me, and I was able to gravity controller one of them away and survived and did the next one, which is cool. But yeah, guys, that's it for the extra deck. It is 15 cards, and the main is 40 cards. I hope you guys enjoyed the profile. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm going to play 3 Danger Mothman in the deck, and if I were to take anything out, I'd probably take out like the 1 Twin Twister, and I've liked Jerry Ghetto, but probably take 2 of him out because it gives more consistency, and I feel like Ash is a little better of a hand trap just because it stops your opponent's consistency cards. I just side that other Twin Twister, but I don't know. You guys can help me figure out what to play over it, because I have those copies of Mothman. Yeah, that's it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe. I know it's a long video, so I hope you guys stayed around for all of it. It's a deck I'm really passionate about. I want to keep working with, so I'll just keep trying to give you guys updates. I'll see you.